Good evening, ladies and gents. Welcome to the Four Mics Podcast, the podcast where we talk about games and gaming news. With me today, I only have two friends because Steve decided he had to work today. So with me, I have Doc.
Allahu Akbar.
And I have Deldev.
Yes, this is Dada speaking.
And we're back for another round of gaming news and all sorts of fun things going on with more CSGO shit. Yay.
On today's episode of Whether You Want It or Not.
I want it.
We'll lead right into the Valve issues cease and desist orders for more than 20 CSGO gambling sites.
Oh, lordy.
Rest in peace is all I have to say about it. Like,
Man, where's all that revenue going? Can you send it my way?
they're toast. Pretty much what Valve has decided to do is they've invoked the terms of service for third-party monetary violations, and they're like, we're going to nuke you from orbit now. So I predict the following, if it hasn't already started to happen. As these CSGO gambling sites shut down, anyone who quote-unquote had their items stored in the vault for gambling, because you can like you can like actually store items in their system, because they have like accounts that they use as like big banks. No one's going to get those items back. Those items will not be returned, and there will be nothing that any user can do in terms of repercussions. So that's the first thing that's going to happen. The second thing that's going to happen is most of the people who ran these places are going to laugh their way to the bank when they sell the skins. So sure, there's not going to be more money to be made, but this is too little, too late as far as I'm concerned from Valve.
Yeah, I'm actually trying to read through and see, because it says they're cracking down on the accounts as well as the sites, which means...
Well, they're cracking down on the sites by virtue of cracking down on the accounts attached to the sites. They can't really do anything about the websites themselves.
Well, maybe they can actually take, because the items stored on the site could have that information to be transferred back to the original owner, if they're being nice about it.
I mean, if Valve wants to use up that much manpower on this, then technically, yes, they could, in theory, fix all of those problems. But, I mean, the report system handling for that many stolen items alone would be insane.
Wouldn't you think they'd have like a backup system for instances where someone hacks an account, sends it to a singular account?
Oh, no, they definitely have a trade history.
Right, but something where you click it on an account, it reverts all the items back to their previous owner.
Yeah, but some of those items were legitimately purchased by those accounts, and some of them were stolen. So then you'd have to do it on an item-by-item basis. You see what I'm saying?
All right, let me
Yeah, but
read
then
off
it would
what
just
they've been
register as
sending
those
to the
items
accounts.
being dissipated, because if it's just for this, like an account for the site, it's mostly going to be trade items anyways.
Well, if they're smart, what they'll do is they'll disperse those items out to a bunch of personal accounts, and just the trail will get ridiculous. So,
Yeah.
That's a shame. But, at least they did something, I guess.
Let me read
With the
what they're
class action
sending out
lawsuits...
to these
Here, I'll
accounts.
finish really quick. With the class action lawsuits that are headed their way, I'm not surprised that they finally took action.
Yeah, especially with them being leveled at YouTubers and other places. One person put in what they received in their account. It says, "We are aware that you are operating one of the gambling sites listed below. As you are using Steam accounts to conduct this business, your use of Steam is subject to the terms of Steam Subscriber Agreement, the SSA. Under the SSA, Steam and Steam services are licensed for personal, non-commercial use only. Your commercial use of Steam accounts is unlicensed and in violation of the SSA. You should immediately cease and desist farther use of your Steam accounts for any commercial purpose. If you fail to do this within 10 days, Valve will pursue any available remedies, including and without limitation to terminating all of your accounts." And that's the end of it.
That actually leads me to believe where it says unlicensed. That means that technically if some of these sites wanted to stay around, if they instituted a 21 plus rule and they validated those accounts for business purposes, then they might actually stay around.
Yeah, that's
'Cause
why
the
apparently.
biggest problem is the underage part of the equation. Like the fact that 13-year-olds are out there blowing like relative 350, 500 skins
Yeah.
on coin flips, you know.
Yeah, it says one of the gambling site's responses was, "We are shutting down temporarily, and we will definitely be back soon."
Yeah, so maybe they're like trying to figure out a way to become compliant because they actually want to be a legitimate skin trading and gambling system, and they want to find a way to do it that fits Valve's terms of service. I mean, if they want to do that, more power to them. But I expect that 90% of these places are going to go under relatively quickly.
Yeah, probably most of them just cropped up because look at the cash flow, look at the cash flow. Let's jump on the
Yeah,
train
plus
while
it's
it's hot.
relatively easy to set up.
Well, a lot of
I
them
understand.
are just variations of one company using different sites that have different activities in it to gamble with.
Yeah. It'll definitely be something we have to report on again to see what happened to a lot of these sites. I'm going to assume probably 75% of them are going to disappear. One of them was actually a Dota 2 gambling site. I didn't even know Dota 2 had anything to gamble, so.
You could probably bet on games.
Or skins, yeah. Skins are big in Dota.
Oh, kind of like League of Legends skins?
Sort of. They're more like pieces of skins. So you could buy a set, like an outfit for a character, where you'll have the person has a different outfit, or you have a different weapon, or maybe you have a different hat. But these are all different pieces for a large outfit that you could customize to your will.
Oh, okay. So kind of like a
And
TFT type thing.
yes, and there are betting sites for the online championships and all that jazz.
Gotcha. Okay, well, it'll definitely be something else to see, and along the same line, we're gonna move right into the next topic, which is Phantom Lord has been suspended or banned from Twitch. Since he hasn't replied to anyone in days, we don't know which of the things it is, but he has been killed. Because from what I last know, he basically just gambles, like CSGO skin gambles on his stream now, pretty much. What
Well,
I've seen.
he plays the game and he gambles as kind of like a downtime
Okay.
thing.
So
Well,
like,
It
in
makes
between
him a lot of
playing the
money,
game.
so
Twitch basically covered their ass hard where they have an asterisk at the bottom of their user policy where it says violating any developer terms of service while playing their game is the same as violating Twitch terms of service. So now that Steam has come out against CSGO gambling, Twitch is just like, well, it's not our fault, and then just bans anyone that is still doing it, I guess, or
Yeah.
suspends them depending on which article you're reading. What I don't understand is from the replies before he was suspended on his Twitter. Sorry, let me rephrase that sentence. The last posts on his Twitter before his Twitch suspension, it was pretty obvious that he was making efforts to choose new games and kind of get feedback from the people who watch him about what else he could do that they would be willing to participate in viewing. And there were actual images of him, like changing his setup to get ready to try new games. And then he made a post. One of the last posts he made was, lol, look at this. And it's the image of his account suspended and he hasn't been heard from since. So
where'd you see that?
that was up on his Twitter.
Yep.
On
There's
his Twitter,
a-
the last post is the 16th, and it doesn't show about his post being suspended.
Well, they might have been deleted then. I saw archives of them from archive.is and I believe archive.is. So
Yep. I think probably what Twitch is really trying to cover is what I didn't know and what Deldev probably didn't know and what I don't know if Doc knew is the gambling site he uses he's affiliated with.
there were rumors of that. Is there actual hard evidence now?
Let's see. Blah blah.
Because the last
Which he
I
heavily-
heard, somebody was trying to tie him to an alias that was related to the company.
It doesn't seem to have any hard evidence, just high high suspicion of him being tied to it.
All right, well, innocent until proven guilty.
Looks like his girlfriend wasn't suspended, and her last broadcast was on the 13th.
Oh, wait, the second paragraph here says, heavily suggest and almost to a degree of certainty that Phantom Lord is the owner of CS Shuffle.
Yeah, okay, well, that's not 100%.
And on top of that, he gambled exclusively with house money taken from the business. Okay.
Ooh, okay. All right, that brings it a little closer. But like, if somebody's saying that they're affiliated with someone else, I want to see papers. I want to see signed documents before.
Yeah, I'm not
before I render judgment.
I'm not lighting the torches of pick
Yeah.
riots yet, but you know.
Just put your pitchforks next to the door, but don't go outside yet. Like, we're not quite sure.
Yep. So yeah, like Twitch
This is
banned him for violating another party's service
rules.
agreement.
This is just for literally the last 4 weeks. This has been an endless wellspring of popcorn. Like,
yeah, it's just like the CS:GO
it's
lottery.
the gift that keeps giving.
Like we keep finding more and more people that are doing more and more scummy things. So I guess on the topic of that, in a little way, how do you guys feel about people using YouTube and using Twitch and not disclosing that they are actually affiliated with or directly related to these companies? Like, do you think if they had disclosed this, they wouldn't be in as much shit as they are?
They'd be fine if they just disclosed it. It's literally a federal violation of the Federal Trade Commission to not disclose when you're doing advertising with a company that you literally own. Now, those laws used to be a lot more lax. For example, you could put your disclosure in YouTube videos under the fold, but there's been recent updates to the FTC guidelines. Now, this is for YouTubers in the United States, of course. I don't know the exact laws in the European Union or Britain, but I think they're similar. Where you now have to make a verbal announcement in the video at somewhere near the beginning, and your disclosure has to be above the more info fold in your video description. So,
Okay.
it's not just that they've done something morally reprehensible by not disclosing this; they've actually violated the law. So, that's my opinion.
With a lot of these things as well, if I enjoy the content that I'm seeing, it doesn't matter if I get that notification because all it is something that I feared that was probably happening anyways. But when it's against the law, you kind of have to follow that rule.
I don't know. I was never necessarily okay with it. Like, a lot of the streamers I watch end up getting games on promotion, and they widely say that, like, I got this game for free. Opinions may be slightly biased, or like, I'm promoting this video, I'm being paid to play this game, stuff like that. So having people doing full disclosure just makes me feel like anyone that doesn't is just the scumfuck in general. Like, even if it, apparently, which I was unaware, is the law, so...
Oh, yeah.
Like,
It's not just a suggestion, it's the law. Like,
yeah, like, you have to do it. This isn't an option, it's a do it or get fucked, kiddies. So yeah, I mean, I just felt like going on that topic for a minute because it cropped up in my head. One more CSGO thing on our list today, and then we'll move on. What happened to CSGO skin prices after Valve's gambling ban?
ooh. Do tell.
Okay, let's just scroll down here. Prices have actually gone relatively up.
Yeah. Isn't that weird?
Mm-hmm.
Suddenly they don't have an easy way to get it, so people are selling it higher.
Yeah, so the supply is going down, and the added publicity means that demand is going up. Don't you just love capitalism?
Yep, they took a dip, like, at the announcement, they took a dip. And
Oh
then
yeah,
they
that's market uncertainty. That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, then they climbed, leveled out, and normalized at a little higher than they were. At the beginning of this whole thing, they also started the dip. When the whole CSGO Lotto shit came out to begin with, they took a dip. And they actually normalized down lower than they had been. So, skins overall have returned back to pretty much the same price they were.
Yeah, like, this the laws of supply and demand are not instantaneously violated just because a couple of guys decided to get together and be assholes. Like,
Yep, the only thing they do mention is that there's now a higher amount of the skins in the market, so they predict a drop in price eventually because more skins you have availability, the lower the price will go, obviously. So there was like a 13% increase in sales, like number of units on sale. But prices have relatively normalized about where they were, so that's pretty much what I expected. I don't know if other people had expected them to drop off the market.
yeah, I'm actually I'm surprised that there wasn't a larger sell-off of people who are sitting on high-value skins who want to cash in while the market's high.
Yeah, actually, you know what I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to open up my Steam because I was sitting on, before the Steam summer sale, I was sitting on like a $50 sticker. And I can use the price of that sticker to tell you what happened. So I'm going to go look at that for a second. In the meanwhile, you guys have anything else you want to say about CSGO lottery?
No, the horse has been beat thoroughly to the point where its organs are coming out of its mouth.
Yeah,
Like,
I've pretty
Been
much felt
quite the
that way.
ordeal.
It's toast.
Yep.
Go ahead and read off the headline of the new topic, and I'll just say some stuff about that while you look their thing up.
All right. Next topic's gonna be G2A introduces seller verification to improve its image, which I can bring back up for you guys now that I've gotten my Steam profile out of the screen. There you go.
Well, like I said, it's just making more efforts to protect the consumer, so I'm all for it. They probably should have had a stronger seller verification system in the first place, but they notified people who were buying from there that there was a risk and offered them the insurance system to cover it. I mean, we talked about this, 3 weeks ago?
Yeah.
So, really, at this point, what they're doing is they're just refining their business model.
I thought you said this was already part of it, though, Bulldog. I thought this whole seller verification thing was a
I
huge
thought
deal.
it was because it took them 3 days of verifying my key before they put my key on sale. So I thought that's what that was.
Well, maybe they're just making it more ubiquitous.
Yeah.
Yeah, did you have to put any information in other than...
No, I just
that you're
had to
selling
put
it?
the key in that I was selling it, my name, my address, my information to get my money, so I could have money. But hey, Deldev, do me a favor. I don't have a Counter-Strike Global Offensive tab in my inventory.
I have mine. Well, I mean, let me check my inventory. I have the game, just that.
But I already thought this was part of it because I don't know what they were verifying then if this isn't what they were already
have
doing. You do have it? Okay, I'm gonna refresh it then.
It's towards the end of
This
my
process
list,
will include a phone number and social media verification. Ugh.
Oh.
Ugh.
though. Tear this to your wall!
And an upper limit on the number of keys sellers are able to sell, so that's a good one.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
Yeah. I
Honestly, anything that makes you verify with social media, I want to kill with fire.
Yeah, the
So-
verify with social media kind of got me there. Like, I might not sell keys on G2A anymore.
Well, yeah, because that's totally not difficult at all to fake, by the way.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna go make a fake account so I can sell my keys.
That's
There we
not
go.
even remotely hard.
Okay, so my sticker's price has dropped to $25, and the number of sellers has increased it's tripled since the last time I looked. So
So it's 150.
Surprise me.
Yeah, so I mean, that just means the prices are dropping a little bit because of increased number of items on the market, but that's not much to be concerned about, in my opinion. Alright, back to G2A. So, these checks are in addition to G2A's pledge to pay developers or publishers up to 10% royalties on each sale and grant them access to the database to keep track of keys that move through the system. So, I still feel like that's kind of scumfucky. The giving developers any money on something that somebody's already given those developers money on. It'd be like if I sold my Xbox to the guy down the street and Microsoft took 10% of that sale. It feels a little awkward.
Yeah, that's a bit weird.
Do you see the little hyperlink in the first paragraph? Tiny Build still hasn't received anything
Revealed
back
it
from
had
G2A.
received nothing. Tiny Builds claims this is the...
This is the
Yeah, but
topic we
isn't
talked
that-
about originally.
Isn't that their fault because they still won't hand over the full key database?
Yeah.
I don't know if they did or not. I mean, you would think if they're saying that, oh, we still haven't got anything back, that they probably went through with the deal.
Well,
But I
it
haven't
says
heard
still
anything
hasn't
about
got
it otherwise.
anything back, but this is the original article that we are reading. Like
Yeah.
a month ago now. So, man, this G2A thing's been going on for a month.
Well, yeah, this shit
Wow.
takes forever to sort out.
Yeah, like, I don't know if Tiny Build hasn't received anything. Truthfully, I really don't care anymore. Like, Tiny Build seems to be the people that caused most of their own problems. They didn't want to cooperate. G2A wanted to cooperate, but it's not like G2A can just be like, I'm gonna pull all of these random sales of your thing because you said they weren't legal keys.
Yeah, they can't just go ripping out what could be.
But we
valid.
haven't received any information if they did cooperate or not. It just says that they haven't received anything. So I wasn't sure if they cooperated and they've just been lazy on the part of G2A, or if it was, Tiny Builds holding back on them so they're not willing to give them the money.
As far as I heard the last time, Tiny Build refused to present a key list to G2A because Tiny Build didn't want to
Right,
kill
that was a month ago.
people that had legitimately purchased the game. Well, yeah, but they also only had 3 days. Or 5 days, like G2A said, like 3 or 5 days, whatever. They had a limited amount of time to work with G2A with this when they went public.
Maybe it's something to look into further, but
Yeah, I mean, as far as I remember, G2A had given them like a time window to like, come work with us. We'll get this fixed out if you want to work within this time window here. And then Tiny Build didn't present them with the key list because they said they would refuse to give them the key list. Let me look and see if Tiny Build has any comments on that. No. Pretty much all of the ones I see here are like a month old, and there's no statement from Tiny Build. Well, there's an official G2A statement to Tiny Build, but
I think the story's probably dead at this point.
yeah,
I'd be surprised if it's gonna get any more coverage.
yeah, pretty much they're just covering what G2A is doing now in response to this happening, which doesn't surprise me. But I mean, if they worked it out, they worked it out. If they didn't, they didn't. Nobody seems to know because all of the articles are a month old, and they say that Tiny Build got nothing. So, but that was a month ago, and I'm pretty sure they had like a 3 to 5 days to work with G2A after they went public with this instead of just working with G2A in private. There are further checks that include address, credit card, and PayPal verification. I already had to do those, so I don't know. I don't know why those are added in as like these are farther checks they're adding. They were definitely already there when I processed my key sale the last time. I don't really have much to say about G2A other than I think what they're doing is pretty much alright in general. People abuse the system, but people abuse every system that exists anywhere, so. Any other comments from you guys?
No, like I said, it's a dead story at this point.
Yeah. It's been a slow, annoying week of CSGO
Slow
shit.
burn.
And not too much other. So there's a fun one now. Evolve goes free to play. Then the beta starts tomorrow. Of course, this was 15 days ago. Because we've missed out on weeks of news.
Rip.
I think the title should be Evolve tries to make itself relevant again.
Yeah,
after poor decisions.
I'm with Daldub on that. Like, I know that you expressed earlier, Bulldog, that you might want to try the game out. I honestly no. It's not
No?
something that I want to touch. Yeah.
Well, then again, you weren't that big into Dead by Daylight either.
Yeah.
Like, my main reason for wanting to discuss this is like, Evolve's trying to make themselves relevant. That's pretty obvious. But at the same time, their full disclosure statement and announcement was like, we know we fucked up. We know we destroyed our community. We know we did this and that. Here's how we're trying to remedy that. Here's how we're fixing it for the people who
This
already
is
bought
like
the
a
game.
year later, though. This isn't like a week or a month. This is like a whole year that took them. Oh, well, I guess after all this shitty DLC and poor decisions, we should probably get our community back.
Mm-hmm. That's also after saying that it wasn't necessarily the development team choice, and that it was mostly 2K.
On
Yeah,
today's
I'm
episode,
sure
of
even-
blame the publisher.
Even if it was 2K, I'm sure someone on there is just like, damn, we have low numbers. Maybe we should do something about this.
Eh? Is there anything wrong with it going free to play? It's
No,
definitely
there's
a
absolutely
cleaner,
nothing wrong
crisper,
with
and
it.
stronger game than Dead by Daylight, in my opinion.
I just think that if they were to do this, they should have done it a long time ago. While the
Do it
game
while
was
they're
still
still
fresh in
trying to
everyone's
push
mind.
and sell DLC.
Not even that. It didn't matter about the DLC. It was just kind of like insult to injury to a game that everyone felt was kind of broken in the first part, and then huge paywall.
I'm getting a weird mic bump from somebody.
It might be me because I'm itching my ear.
Static. Anyway, like, I guess I'll rephrase it. I don't feel a need to play a game that, after the developer already toasted their own community. So,
Well, if you want me to give you a little look into that, their community has come flocking back, and they've had about 500,000 daily players now.
Oh.
Yeah.
well,
There we go.
So
they're more forgiving than I would be.
So yeah, the community's alive and breathing. Apparently, they're posting numbers around 100,000 players in the beta test alone. So that's...
Yeah, but isn't that for the new game? Or
No,
like...
it's not a new game. It's the same game with like a weekly rotation cycle for the characters, like League of Legends, and then like you earn an in-game currency to buy them permanently, just like League of Legends. And then you can use money to buy the currency, just like League of Legends.
I'm seeing a pattern.
Did they lower the prices of the characters? Because if I remember correctly, it was like $20 to $30 per monster.
Well, they're substantially lower then, because what you're looking at is like 4,000 credits, in-game credits, to buy a monster, and one of the people reporting said they got a daily reward of 1,500 credits just for logging in. There's no. I don't know that they've opened up the marketplace yet. I'd have to look that up because there wasn't at the time of the beta when I was reading most of the articles. They hadn't opened up the like this is how much it costs to buy credits yet.
Okay.
But saying that you get a just under half of what it costs to buy a monster just for turning on the game says it's probably not that expensive. You're probably looking at like $5 or $10 a monster if I had to guess.
Yeah, it was just super disappointing to see such a cool looking game fall on its face because they were doing like $1 to $3 for skins, which isn't horrible if I feel like the game's great. But usually it's not for just one weapon that you pay. And then like $20 to $30 for a monster, and they only had like 5 monsters out at the time.
Yep. I'm really not sure because like I looked at Evolve, I went, it looks cool, and then I looked at the $60 price tag and I was just like, it's gonna do a Titanfall. That's how I felt about
Yeah,
it.
it's not $60 cool.
Well, yeah, like even ignoring that, I was like, it's a multiplayer only isometric fighter action shooter. I was like, it's Titanfall.
I've heard this song and dance before. Like,
And I watched the community just die, absolutely toast itself. So I didn't want to try and buy into, something that I had expected to die, and then they roasted themselves over the fire with all their DLC stuff that I wasn't even paying attention to anymore. Like, numerous people have constantly gone on about their DLC shenanigans, and I'm just like, I wasn't even paying attention by that time. I already knew it was going to roast over the flames of its own fucking paywall.
Total
Yeah,
Biscuit
most people
panned it
did.
pretty hard in his review.
Yeah, I don't know how buggy or how bad it was at launch, but a few of the people
It was pretty stable from what I understand. Like it launched as a good title. It didn't like.
That's good.
It's not that it launched as a like subpar, game. It's just it wasn't good enough to warrant all of the fucking payola that they wanted for it.
Yeah, like a $60 pay and wall for what was it? 8 hunters and a monster. I believe was the original game release.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
I
when
mean,
it first came out, there was one monster, and there was probably 8 hunters that you could play.
I mean, the gaming community will never miss an opportunity to bitch about having to pay for something. But like I've paid a good amount of money for, like a game that I play a lot. For instance, I mean, I've sunk it's at least $160 on DLC for Destiny right now, right? If you played since day one,
Yeah.
that's about how much you bought in. With the
With all
season
the
pass, I
different
think it's something like
consoles.
140. Plus, I've spent like $60 in silver to get vanity items. So they've gotten at least 300 plus bucks out of me. But,
Yeah,
people
that's what
whine about
always
that,
shocked me.
but then they get hundreds of hours of gameplay out of it. And Evolve was like, yeah, you should give us money for like a couple of skins, and it should be at least like, $2 a shot. And I'm like, yeah, no.
Yeah, and Evolve was also like, I just came out. Here's 3 DLC packages on release day.
That really pisses people off when that happens.
Yeah, because it makes people feel like they're paying to unlock the game they already bought.
Well, they literally were. It was on disc.
Yeah, so there you go.
That's when you know you fucked up. Like, hey guys, let's put Day One DLC on disc.
No.
Have you not learned from your forefathers? Like, this never goes well.
You will utterly trash yourself and leave yourself burning in a pile of cinders. Stuttering, I am.
Quiet.
I know.
I love how you said this is gonna be the fun topic, and then we shit all over it.
Apparently, well,
It
I
was
thought it was
fun.
gonna be fun because I, kind of want to play it now.
Well, I mean, I'm not telling you what you can and can't play. You can go play it if you want to. It's just like, I don't even think it's worth my time now that it doesn't cost any money.
I don't know. Would you have felt this?
thought it
Well,
was
do
a
you
fun
feel the
topic.
same way about like now that Titanfall's out? Because Titanfall
What do you mean?
went pretty free, didn't it? I think it's free in general because it was.
Yeah, I
just-
know, but that community is really toast. Like,
Yeah, that community's not coming back.
plus also they changed some gameplay elements in that game that I did not agree with, like the 360-degree epic dick kick
Uh
that they nerfed. Like, I'm sorry, but half of that game was the melee. I'm not gonna lie. Like, sure, there was good gun combat and giant robots, but if you knew at close quarters how to, properly use that melee, you were a god. And then they went and they nerfed it into the floor. So it's more gameplay decisions for Titanfall that keep me from going back and playing it than it is anything else.
I was gonna say, and the balances they did to the car, really. Have you tried using the car? I don't think you played it.
The
Much
CA,
recently.
yeah, no, they probably nerfed it into the ground too.
Yeah, the car's dead.
Was it a transformer vehicle?
No,
No.
it's the CAR. It was a automatic weapon, wasn't it? It wasn't a pulse rifle.
It was an SMG. Yeah.
Yeah, it was basically a hybrid between an SMG and an assault rifle. It was a mid-range weapon with a high rate of fire and a really decent stability if you knew how to compensate for the kick angle.
Right.
And it would crucify people at mid, even sometimes to long range. And up close, you just hit them once or twice to screw up the aim on their shotgun, and then you do like a wall jump and 360 dick kick them in the face, and they would be dead.
Yep.
That would be it. I mean, I guess since we're talking about Titanfall, we can talk about Titanfall 2 if you want to.
Yeah. I actually think I had an article about that, so I'm gonna click over to the mic screen for a minute while I find that article, and we can keep talking about Titanfall 2.
Yes. So Titanfall 2, they're like, this was a good game. Everyone thought it was a good game, but it kind of, died. And I'm kind of hyped for Titanfall 2. It looks like they kept some of the same design elements, and they've, done obvious changes to the Titans themselves. Like, there's a lot more Titan abilities, and it looks like there's a lot more. There's even more mobility choices, including like grappling hooks and a small amount of jetpack now that can help you vertically, not just side to side on walls. There's more gun variety. The maps look better. There's been a visual upgrade, but it comes out
In between
right next to Battlefield 1.
Mm.
Yeah, and I'm like, guys, what are you doing?
Yeah. In between Battlefield 1 and Call of Duty Infinite Warfare.
Like, I want to play this game, but
Please release it in February.
like, just let those games have their hay.
Yeah, like
And
move
get
your
out of the
release
way.
date to February and we'll be fine.
I mean, I understand the freaking actual studio made the argument like, well, we believe that the player base between Titanfall and Battlefield 1 is non-overlapping in nature because they're such different types of games.
Lying.
No,
Sack
No.
of shit.
we are shooter fags, and shooter fags play shooters. Period. It doesn't matter what the design elements are. I can pick up the latest Call of Duty and shred people in half, and then I can pick up Battlefield and snipe people from a ridiculous amount. I can toss in Halo 5 and go on a 10-kill killing spree, win a game single-handed in Destiny, and then switch back over to Call of Duty seamlessly. Like, if you play shooters and you're good at them, it doesn't matter what the mechanics of the shooter are. You need one game to warm up, and you're good to go. Now, I mean, I try not to oversell myself in terms of gaming prowess, but
Hey Doc.
I play shooters at the high end. Okay, so maybe I
We're
have.
top 7 in the world in zone control. We're high end.
Well, yeah, I'm not necessarily overselling my ability, but maybe being at the higher end of skill in terms of shooters clouds my judgment in terms of how people feel about the different mechanics that shooters can have, because Titanfall is obviously a completely different game from Destiny, and Destiny is totally different from Battlefield. But when it comes down to brass tacks, if you can put the dot on the target's head, you will kill them.
Pretty much.
All of the stuff in between is just the secret sauce. You know, that's the icing on the cake, but it's still a white cake on the inside. You know, regardless of frosting.
Whether it's a chocolate frosting or a vanilla frosting.
Yeah, it's just so. But maybe for people who like don't have as much inherent skill at shooters and kind of get really dug into the mechanics of each individual one. For instance, I know people that were really good at Titanfall because of the mobility who suck crap at most other shooters. But because they could be so mobile and they were pretty good tactically, they would, you know, shred at Titanfall. So I can see how you could get into a mindset where you play a particular type of shooter. Like I know of people who only play Battlefield games. And they only play hardcore because they hate radar and they like the realism and the large team-based combat. But
I was pretty good at Borderlands.
I guess what I'm trying to get across is I don't think you can lean on a large base of the shooter community having those feelings towards first-person shooters to the point where you can release those big-ticket games that close to each other and expect one or the other not to steal the other's thunder or for them both to wind up subtracting from each other's launches. So,
yep.
I guess we'll see what happens.
You ready for
I'm
my
hype
quote?
regardless.
You ready for my quote from this article?
Yeah, sure.
This game is for the hardcore fans out there. It's my only quote. He's focusing on the people that are Titanfall fans to the core. So those 1,000 players left still playing Titanfall, he cares about.
Well, he's gonna need more people than that, unfortunately.
Yeah. These are not marketing speak. These are not marketing speak, wow. This isn't anything other than actual game developers telling you how we're doing our job. If you have anything you'd like us to cover, let us know.
Like, yeah. So that's pretty much all I'm going to say about Titanfall. I know there's going to be a beta. There has to be a beta.
I'm hyped more for Titanfall than I am for Call of Duty or Battlefield.
Really?
Yeah.
How do you feel about Battlefield 1?
I like Battlefield games. The problem is the reason I like Battlefield's games is the destructive terrain, the highly interactive abilities, the massive scale of realism because I play hardcore only. Hi, I'm that hardcore player you were talking about.
Okay.
And I like the feel of modern weaponry. So when I post up with a bipedal stand silenced 12x zoom ballistic scope 50 cal on the top of a mountain,
and you shitwreck someone on the other side of the map.
Yeah, I like that. On the other hand, if I post up with an N1 Graham without a bipod in the middle of a World War I zone,
yeah,
that thing is going to be unsatisfying as fuck to shoot. Because not only are they inaccurate over range,
you land that headshot though.
Yeah, at the same time, like, my question becomes how much of that's going to be luck versus skill? Like, how much is that's going to be the random number generator that decides the bullet's going straight when it comes out of the gun, then slightly off to the side? You know,
you'd
what
have
I mean?
to know the secret sauce in order to understand exactly how much of a ratio that is.
Yeah, maybe. And I'm just like, I don't know if I want to bother diving that far into a Battlefield game that I've, like, attached certain things to already. Not to mention, I'm not going to have my C4, probably.
Oh, that will be sad. I can't just pitch C4 at people and blow it up.
Uh-huh. Can't just be like, he's hiding in the building. Let's drop the building. They're on the top floor of this 30-story building. Let's blow out the supports. All right.
Can you still defib everybody?
Yeah, well.
No, it's great. It's a needle now, so you run up to them and you like jab them in the face. That's how you kill with it anyway.
Well, yeah,
Um,
that was how you killed with the defib. Practically, it's like you get the shock pedals going, you run up behind them and go, and then they die.
Yeah, but in World War One, it was like an adrenaline shot. So now you go up and you like stab them in the eye. It was great. They showed it on stream. Like, we know historically that you've been able to kill people with a defib, so here you go. And it shows a guy running up and just jabbing the needle into somebody's face, and the whole crowd like,
Beautiful. I love it. 10 out of 10.
Oh,
10 out
Dead
of
Space
10.
2.
I buy the game for jabbing needle in eye.
Oh, my brain. Stop. I
What
can't.
about
Needles
the-
and eyes. Did you play Dead
right
Space?
through the.
Did you play Dead Space, Doc?
I've never played a Dead Space game.
Okay, at the end, I'm gonna spoil the shit out of this. By the way, spoiler warning. At the end
We'll
of
put your finger up.
was it Dead Space 2? I think it was Dead Space 2. He has to lay down on this contraption, and to confirm that he's Isaac, the machine inserts a needle into his eye. And if you do it wrong, the machine jabs the whole needle through your head. In the most scene ever. Not to mention
Beautiful.
it's
Mwah.
if you do it right. I'm gonna
Yeah,
look.
why is there no other way that you could confirm who you are? I am an identification machine. Present your eyes. Like, like what the fuck?
Yeah, I'm just gonna copy link address. I'm gonna drop a link in Curse for you. Just
Oh, how lovely. Thank you.
did that drop? I don't think that dropped. Okay, I'm gonna
I
drop
did
it.
twice. Now I have 2 little stabby eye things in my chat. Here, let me just fix this real quick. Oh yeah, there we go. Oh, it's so. It's not on my screen.
I would let you guys on Twitch see, but I'm worried about copyright, so I'm not gonna.
Oh, that looks awesome.
Yeah. By the way, you have to like mash X while you're doing this
So you have to
like-
make sure it goes in the eye.
to keep your body straight or whatever. And oh yeah,
You know what would be really great?
you have to. Oh, that's
know
what
the-
it
you know
is.
the-
You have to use the joysticks to keep your eyes straight. Oh, I forgot.
Okay, you know the PS4 has a motion sensor in the controller, right?
Uh-huh.
What if you made it so that if anybody flinched while playing this game, it just went straight through their face?
Uh-huh.
So people just have to sit there perfectly still and watch it.
Yeah, it's still fucking annoying when you do it. When you do it right.
All right. What else have we got for today?
Why did you have to remind me of needles and eyes?
Nintendo touchscreen controller patent.
Yes, we've got Nintendo patents a touchscreen controller for their new game console, the NX.
Which this was 8 months ago, according to the article.
Well,
I would like to point out that it is shaped like an oval, and that's weird. And
Yes.
that's my opinion.
Also,
Also,
it's not going to
Also,
work well at
why
all.
would you have a touchscreen under the joysticks where no one is going to be able to see the screen underneath?
I don't know.
Well, I have a feeling that it's wide enough that the center of the screen's going to be touchscreen, where the rest is just going to be kind of like Dead Space.
No,
Well-
see, that's what I thought, but it's
No pun
literally
intended.
the screen encompasses the entire controller.
Yeah, and if you look at the later images on the black section, they're definitely like still touchscreen almost immediately under the joysticks, because you can access your inventory via the touchscreen, quote unquote.
"Quote unquote" inventory.
Yeah. So that's weird. They also have the like, here's where you should put your like joystick to throw this at the proper angle you want, which is kind of an interesting idea. So like if you silhouette your joystick over the right slot, you can throw it accurately. Which is kind of a
I still
cool
think it looks
idea.
like something that they jam up your ass at the hospital.
The whole controller in general.
Yep. It looks like a suppository, I'm sorry. It just does.
But yeah, they're putting a pixel grid around the edge of the fucking joystick, so That's another one of the images. It's definitely going to be interesting to see what they're trying to do with it, because
Well, you know what this is, right? This is like the controller they're building right now is like the inverse Game Boy. You remember the GameCube, how you could play Game Boy games on the GameCube and use the Game Boy as a controller?
yeah.
They're inverting the process. Like, I bet you that the console is going to be feeding information to the controller, and you can go anywhere in your house with it without needing a big television in order to play games.
So similar to the Wii U.
Yeah,
So
It's-
actually
it's
literally what the Wii U does.
it's a backwards
Except-
Game Boy. Like,
The Wii U has like a 10-foot radius. It's
Well, yeah,
pretty
but
awful.
still, the main point being is that you still can play games without a TV. So it's the reverse Game Boy. I don't know, I think the screen's too small for that. Like, have you seen how big the Wii U gamepads are? I'm sure you have.
yeah, but
I
do you
don't
know
know.
do you know the kind of pixel density that we can pack into screens nowadays?
I do.
You'd be
I
surprised.
still think
What are you
You'd
gonna
be
get out of a
surprised
screen
how
that big
accurate
with?
human eye can interpret small images if the fidelity is high enough.
Yeah, but look how small that screen is.
Well, you remember the Game Boy Micro, don't you?
No.
You don't remember the
do.
Game Boy Micro.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
You're
it
gonna
was
have to
pretty small.
describe it.
The Game Boy Micro came out after the Game Boy Advanced SP. It was,
Okay.
It was like half the
Um,
size of a rig or a color.
yeah, and it was wider. You should look it up. It was a limited time offer, and you could play regular Game Boy games on it, and I think it would still play color games, right?
Probably. I don't remember. to be
Probably.
honest. I never got
And-
it. So.
The screen was ridiculously tiny,
I see
but
it.
the fidelity on the screen was so high that it didn't matter.
Mm,
Honestly, I'm sad that I never got one as a kid because
Well, they still roam the internet, just probably at high prices.
yeah, that's the problem though.
$299.
Yep.
Or
about right.
160 with like 40 games.
I feel if they do decide to release this as the NX controller, or if it's something completely different, I don't know how well it's going to do. It's just they're taking basically a phone screen, giving it handles, and putting actual joysticks on it. It's not going to work well because gaming on phones already doesn't work well.
Well, gaming on phones doesn't work well because phones aren't designed for gaming. That's a
Right.
different
And-
argument.
Tablets work decent just because you have more space to move your hands and
Also,
your
you can
buttons
have
aren't limited.
different attachments that you can actually put onto those. That you can buy third party that makes it easier to game on them.
Right, but the fact that they're working on something that's basically what phones are already, I don't know how well it's going to go for. I mean, if they can make something that doesn't look so
Yeah.
maybe pop out the sides of the controllers a little bit more, stop making that an oval, and have the beautiful graphics that they could possibly offer with the NX, then I'd be down for it.
I don't know. I think this touchscreen's not going to be used as a mobile platform like the Wii U. I think it's going to be used kind of like the PS4's controllers. Touchscreen, quote unquote, is used. It just doesn't have an image on it.
Right, but
Cash
with
discussion
that
really quick.
image there, they're focusing mainly on the fact that it is going to be an image-based
really-
thing.
Really quick, are you still signed in on 2B with the menu up?
Nope. I dropped it
kick
at
you?
the beginning of the stream.
Okay.
I closed Minecraft because I didn't want to keep it open.
You guys go ahead. I'll be right back.
Okay.
BRB.
Okay.
I mean, just because it's displaying images doesn't mean they're not using that just as an example. Because this is for a patent.
Yeah. I'm just worried on what their new innovation's going to be and how it might chunk their company a bit more.
I don't know. Like, if you're talking about chunking their company, they're doing fine. Because of Pokemon
Yeah, they're
Go.
doing fine, but it's just, yeah, Pokemon Go made them Too much money. But
18 million dollars increase already, or whatever. Yeah, they're doing fine. We should talk about Pokemon Go. I didn't even think about that. Well, we skipped over the week that Pokemon Go came out, so I guess we can talk about that after we finish this NX talk. But it looks like it's a similar thing to the PS4. It's just, the screen makes it easier for you to see where you're actually having to push shit. Which makes me happy.
yeah, but it's all going to be phone style games. It's not going to be any huge actiony games other than like the Dungeon Hunter games that you could get on a phone, because with the way that the joysticks are set up, you don't have any buttons to work with other than the top 2 buttons, or maybe there's more on the back. I didn't see. But
There's 2 joys on the top and 2 underneath, so it's 2 triggers and 2 bumpers, quote unquote. And you're right, I just noticed there isn't any buttons on the screen.
yeah, the only buttons you're going to get is the touchscreen buttons, which I despise. So if that ends up being how it works, I wouldn't buy it. Not unless something huge comes out for it and there's like raving reviews on how amazing it is comparatively to Wii U or something like that.
Yeah, I definitely don't like touchscreen click buttons. Like, that's a bad idea. That's a really bad idea. They should not do that. That's a bad idea. Because it's the same problem that I have when I play games on my phone. Like, when I have multiple buttons I have to push, you can end up pushing the other buttons without meaning to, simply because the touchscreen doesn't give you any, like, pushback. There's no clear feeling of knowing where you are on the controller without looking at the controller, which
Yeah,
you don't want to
especially if
do
it
while
lags.
gaming. Ugh,
If
that's
you're looking at the screen and it lags, then
Well, they're definitely going to sort out any lag between it and the NX, because that would destroy this console.
yeah. But I mean,
lags.
other consoles have had that issue. My oh my goodness. Okay, I'll mention something in a second. But the fact that we had I think it was the original DS. Let me check. The Dragon Quest 9. I think it was the original DS game. Ended up running extremely poorly because it wasn't optimized, but it had so much content in it that it would lag the game.
Dragon
Gladly,
Quest
that was a
9
turn-based
Sentinels of the Starry Sky?
Yep.
Okay. On the DS? Or on the, what was it originally?
I think that was an original DS.
Okay, because I have that game. It ran badly? I didn't even notice.
Yeah, you would drop probably. I mean, if it was a 30-frame game, it'd probably drop 5 to 10 here and there.
Maybe I didn't even notice because I'm using it on, I play it on my 3DS, not my actual original DS.
And then there were some other games as well. I know Pokemon X and Y had that same issue. There was so much content to the game that the 3DS ran it poorly, even the new 3DS.
Well, I've noticed that only when I kick on 3D. And that's only when I kick on the 3D mode at max.
During battles, it ends up being a pain in the ass.
I know,
if you have 3D,
I've
which was
noticed
kind of like.
I killed the 3D during battles. And I just don't use the 3D in general in Pokemon games. Because it's so laggy.
It was a good idea that would have looked really cool with 3D, but they didn't properly implement it, so it ended up turning out really meh.
Yeah. It definitely did. I'm hoping they take time and fix it, but I don't know. Right now I'm looking at probably getting a Wii U just because that's likely what I'm gonna get.
Hey, you get that, and I'll play Smash with you, bro.
Why is somebody calling me right now? I don't know that number. I'm not picking it up. Okay. What were we talking about? I'm sorry, I got distracted.
Well, we were talking
by a
about the
random
NX,
phone call.
the possible NX controller, and then We're
I'm back.
going to discuss Pokemon Go afterwards. Also,
Yep.
Steve says, tell them whatever their opinions are, I'm the opposite.
Whatever our opinions
I'm
are,
back,
he's the
by the way.
opposite. Welcome back, Doug.
Hi, Doug.
Hmm. Browser screen. That's weird. Patent presents suggests that the device could be used one-handed in portrait mode. So like a phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally like a phone. Okay.
So we've discussed that this is pretty much a phone with handles.
Yeah, I noticed my... Did you notice the problem that Deldiv did? Because I didn't notice it either. Did you notice
What?
there's no A, B, any of your normal buttons on this controller?
I did not.
There aren't.
That's probably going to be weird.
There's no front-facing buttons, which means they'll all be on the touchscreen. Which is...
Oh, so when your touchscreen breaks, you have a paperweight.
Mm-hmm. Most likely. On top of the fact that touchscreen push buttons are bad because you have a tendency to slide. Because the touchscreen gives you no pushback when you attempt to tell it what you want to do. I love how the image that they put in, one of the images they put in for their patent, shows their guy holding a gun and shooting at a lizard.
It doesn't look that good. Especially now with that gun thing.
I don't know. The game's not like the image is not obviously any sort of game. It's just a...
No, I know, but the idea of having just two buttons for a shooter, and then your analogs to control the direction and movements.
You know, you might be able to do it though, because Nintendo's never had that many buttons to begin with. Your buttons are what, 6 buttons normally? Because you have A, B, X, Y, and the 2 bumpers. So you have the 2 bumpers, the 2 triggers in the back, and each of the analog sticks can click in. That makes 6 buttons.
Yeah, but what are you left with in this instance? You're left with probably the left trigger for your zoom and your right trigger for shoot, unless you decide to take out zoom altogether.
I'm not trying to do anything with just that weird gun game. I was talking about Nintendo games in general. Like, your controller is
I'm saying
6 buttons.
I was just mentioning the concept of taking a shooter into this would be
Into this
a
controller.
bad idea.
Probably, yeah.
They'd probably link grenades and all that jazz to touch buttons.
Yeah, I think for your normal Nintendo games, though, you have all the buttons required without having any front-facing buttons, because there's only 6 buttons on any Nintendo device anyways. So you got your 2 bumpers, your 2 triggers, and your 2 push-in on the analog stick. That's your 6. That's all you need for a Nintendo normal controller. So they might... I don't think they're gonna do that. Most likely. Which is gonna make me sad. And there's gonna be buttons, obviously, on the touchscreen. Like, I'm pretty sure we can predict that's what's gonna happen. But it would make me more happy if they were all just analog inputs from the various places they have them. Anything else on this weird ass fucking controller? From anybody?
Not
No.
really.
Okay, neat. So let's
I
talk
just
about
hope it doesn't fall
Pokemon
through.
Go. I'm just gonna put us back on the mic screen because I don't have anything about Pokemon Go in any articles. Just basically like, let's talk about what we think about Pokemon Go, what we like, what we dislike, all of that, and go from there. So let's start with Doc, the guy who's not really a Pokemon gamer, from what I tell.
I stopped playing after 4 days.
Wow, that's faster than me. I stopped playing like a week ago. So what did you actually like or not like about the game? Like, what drove you to stop playing, basically?
I'm fat.
That's a good...
What? That's the answer.
You didn't want to walk around, basically?
That's what he
Well,
liked
no,
when he
because
came out with the game.
I just started. By the way, like I bought a pair of 20-pound weights like a week ago, and I just started changing my diet. So if this game came out maybe like 6 months from now, I might be in a position to go like on walks every night and play it a whole bunch when I was doing that. But I've got a little ways to go before I'm actually like, yeah, I'm gonna go out in the hot midday sun, go play some video. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and since you're in day classes, you obviously can't just go out at 2 a.m. like Steve does, or I do.
Well, you want to be perfectly honest with you, it's not that I'm lazy, it's that I hate the heat, and it's been really hot out lately. For instance, like if this had come out in February when it was cold, I would have gone for walks in the snow like every freaking day and played this game. But the limiting factor for me is like the temperature where I live. So, I mean, I liked the game. It was fun to play. I liked the idea of walking around and, you know, taking advantage of the global positioning satellite system to, you know, create a video game. That's cool. I think that, like I said, if it would have been in a cooler season, I probably would have kept with it for maybe like 3 or 4 weeks. But by that point, there just wouldn't have been enough to the game to keep me. Like, it's very limited.
Yay. Someone
Like,
else with my cynical opinion of this game.
Like, no, it's just very limited. Like,
I know.
I was kind of excited for gym battles, and then I found out that it's literally just spam clicking and dodging. I was like, wow, this is not a Pokemon game.
Thank you.
It's not a Pokemon game. It's a game that just happens to have Pokemon in it.
Yep, that's exactly what I thought.
Why do you think it's so fucking popular? Because it's easy. People can just go walking around and catching Pokemon and then feeling good about themselves for, you know, posting up freaking digital characters at actual real world locations and, you know, clicking their phone repeatedly and killing somebody else's gym. Like, if this was an actual Pokemon game, like if you could like go through oh god, what's the word I'm looking for? Like if there were more attacks and there's more customization options and like the battles were actual turn-based, you know, battles where freaking types and the types on the attacks, not just the type of the Pokemon, actually mattered, normal people would be getting shit wrecked by real Pokemon fans right now.
Well, can I ask for some clarification?
Yeah.
First off, there are types on the Pokemon moves, and they correlate with the Pokemon types like usual. So that's not a big issue. But
yeah, but it's not turn-based though, and you're fighting an AI. There's no strategy there.
Okay. The other question was, what are you talking about for customization? What were you hoping for customization-wise?
Well,
like a team?
The whole idea behind this thing was kind of like you are the Pokemon trainer, like literally out in the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that you go around and you collect the Pokemon and you are battling at gyms in places where you actually are. And the character customization screen was like literally nothing. Like, I think if you're trying to sell people on the idea that those characters are theirs and that they're affecting the real world by walking around and like capturing Pokemon and taking over gyms and things like that, you need to actually like have a real character customization screen. Or at the very least have like ways of earning other things for your actual trainer and not just your Pokemon as part of the in-game experience. I thought that overall, mechanically, it was a very lackluster showing.
I don't think the character customization has ever been a big deal for Pokemon games. Only recently did we receive it with the original.
Pokemon games that are in like they don't hinge upon this whole idea that you're going out and you're literally capturing Pokemon around your town and you're battling at real places in your town, right?
Right,
Like,
but
the whole idea of
it's,
this one was to be more real.
it's like with any RPG though. If you're stuck in a character that they build around you, you can still feel for that character. You can still pretend that character is you, even if they amount to like a tiny amount of customization just to give you a little bit of choice. It's not always about giving that fleshed out character customization in hats. I mean,
I feel like more
Well,
than there
I'm-
was
this
would
is an-
help.
This is an opinion. This isn't an objective critique.
no, I know. I'm just countering your opinion with another opinion.
I'm not gonna like dock the game over it. I'm just saying that's one of the reasons why I wasn't really that invested in it.
Okay.
And but like I think Bulldog agrees with me about the lack of turn-based combat and the fact that you're fighting AIs rather than people.
Yeah, even if I was fighting AIs, like a turn-based AI is more intelligent than a live AI. That sits in one spot and takes hits because it does. Like the AI doesn't even dodge, which means it's not complicated at all to beat the AI. I can go take my level, well, not even level, which I also fucking hated, but I'll get to that in my own due time. I take the CP-10 Sparrow over to the 12,000 Vaporeon and Shrek its shit, because I can dodge every one of its attacks.
Can't dodge every attack.
I dodged every attack. I did it. I literally did it.
You dodge a surf. That covers the entire field.
I guess the Vaporeon didn't have Surf?
There's moves that are specifically meant to cover the entire field and will not allow you to dodge. You will take that dodge, or you
so
take
that Vaporeon didn't have it. My main point being is that makes those moves overpowered, by the way, in this mechanic.
Yep.
But, ignoring that, my point is a level 1 Sparrow does not beat a level 72 Vaporeon. Ever. That doesn't happen. But I can go take my quote-unquote level 10 one and go beat a level 12,000.
To be fair, a level 1 Diglett could beat a level 72 Raichu with only electric moves.
Yeah, that's in the very specific case that somebody was stupid.
Yeah, but I'm just saying.
But yeah, but my main point is a Sparrow doesn't beat a Vaporeon. I'm talking about a particular situation that I did. That doesn't happen in any Pokemon game but this one. And I don't even want to call this a Pokemon game. I want to call this Ingress with a Pokemon skin on it. Because that's what it feels like to me.
Oops.
Like, it's a lackluster gameplay. Extremely. Like, let's walk around and collect Pokemon that I don't have to weaken in any way. I just throw Pokeballs at. There's no battle system outside fighting the gyms. Even though they say they're going to add trainer battles, like, between players, it's still going to be this stupid tap system. Because I doubt they're redoing their battle system from ground up. Like, not having to weaken Pokemon, not having to level Pokemon, makes me not feel like a trainer. Like, this is not what a trainer is. This is some perversion on what is Pokemon. Instead of being an actual Pokemon game. Which is what I wanted going into this. I wanted to be able to play a Pokemon game in the real world, walk around the real world and catch real Pokemon the way I always have, and that's
walk
not
up to
what
other
I
trainers and ask them to fight. Right?
No, you have to force them to fight.
We made eye contact. You have to fight me now.
Dude, no, but that was the freaking meta joke though. Like, I can guarantee you that there would be people standing in parks facing in a single direction who would walk up to you if you got in their line of sight. I promise you 100% that people would do that.
Uh-huh. I would have done that.
There would be people who would assume the role of NPC for fun. Like, that's what we wanted out of this.
And they didn't give it to me at all. And that's basically like, I played it because people I knew wanted to go walking, and I literally did what Doc was saying. Like, I just recently started changing my diet. I've started lifting weights. I've been working out, trying to get healthier than I have been, and I was just like, well, walking's a nice way to, help that. So I was just going on walks with people because I wanted to turn my diet around. But now when I go walking, I don't even play Pokemon Go. Because it's not fun anymore. Like, getting to level 5 was like my whole thing. And then when I got to level 5 and I saw the gym battles, I was even more disappointed than I was when I found out I didn't battle Pokemon to catch them. Like, it just got worse the farther I went into the game.
Yeah, like, even if they used the tapping mechanic, like, they could have even implemented the tapping and dodging mechanic into the catching of the Pokemon.
Yep.
How so?
Like,
you battle the Pokemon to weaken its HP, to lower it to catch it, just like a normal battle.
You're talking
system.
about actually throwing a Pokemon. I thought you were talking about just catching it.
No.
We're
talking about battling the Pokemon to catch it. You could have just added the same AI system there, like in every
and
Pokemon
use the tap
game.
mechanic. Plus, that would have been a great way to help train people on how the gym battles work. It would have been like a tutorial. Like,
I agree with that, but I think it would become way too much of an ass play at that point. The nice thing is, if you're looking to catch a bunch of small Pokemon, you just throw Pokeballs like you would in normal Pokemon. You just throw a Pokeball, capture it, because the level difference usually makes a huge difference. Pokemon.
Well, yeah,
Catch.
It really doesn't. What makes the difference is the Pokeball you use. Like, no matter the level difference between the Pokemon you're trying to catch, it doesn't impact the actual game numbers in any way. Pokemon have a catch rate. That catch rate is then divided by a number and then multiplied by the Pokeball's catchability and then put over 100 as a percentile. And that's
either way,
how that
small
works.
Pokemon were really easy to catch, and in this game, larger Pokemon or Pokemon with higher levels innately, when you find them, are harder to catch, which you have to use a Raspberry.
Or
You
use
just
a
have to
Great
have-
Ball.
anyway, basically, what I think has
Which you
happened
get
here is
at-
Bulldog and I wanted a full-blown real-world Pokemon game, and we got a discount app.
Yeah, we got a rip-off, basically. Like, we wanted
I'll
a
rephrase-
real Pokemon game, and we didn't get that.
I'm not gonna knock on people who like it. It's obviously fun. It's become kind of a phenomenon.
I don't know.
I
It
think
wasn't
it'll be
fun to me. I'm not gonna lie.
I think it'll be fun for like another month, maybe, for other people who are really playing it. It's probably got a full lifespan of probably about 6 months.
Here's the thing, though.
Here's my
They're
problem with that
constantly
one for
working
you,
on
Doc.
updates for it.
Let's just
let
even
Deldev-
ignore the updates for you, Deldev. Ingress was walk to a location, tap a button, walk away. Using the ARG system that's already built into Pokemon. You didn't have character customization. All you did was pick one of two teams, walk to a place, push a few buttons, and walk away. That's all Ingress was. Ingress is still going, and Ingress still has over 1.5 million players active.
Not to mention that, the Pokemon fan base is just gonna be up for a long time.
Yeah, I can't believe real Pokemon fans are taking up camp in this game. But
A lot of people are, and a lot of people are hoping for the updates where they, mention that they might do the turn-based combat, which I haven't heard from any other sources than my brother talking about it. So I can't guarantee that. But that would also, as you mentioned, they'd have to rework their combat system entirely. They'd have to implement actual levels, or if not actual levels, work it into the game with the combat levels, and then they would have to implement new moves or more moves to every single Pokemon that everyone has.
So maybe there's more. Maybe there's more people complaining about it from our standpoint than I think there are.
Oh yeah, there's a ton of people that agree with you, but still play it because they enjoy it and it gets them out and hanging with
I guess
people.
that's something that I don't understand at all, is because the game didn't make me go out. I was going out already. The game was just an augment. And then I just didn't give a shit about the game anymore.
Well, we will see what happens. It's
Yeah.
on our opinions are on record now. So, I mean, if a year from now, if the United States turns into a utopia and obesity is down 50%, well, we can just eat shit.
Well, I'm not saying it's not helping encourage people to go walking, and it's definitely helping like younger kids who probably never really played a Pokemon game to that potential that we did. Because man, I got into Pokemon. I've been to real world Pokemon tournaments. I've done breeding for Ivies and getting a 6 IV Ditto that I paid $10 for so I could breed high EV Pokemon. High IV, sorry, Pokemon. And then I was doing EV training to the absolute shit. I'm so glad they added the super training system in the new games, because now I don't have to or EV train Pokemon anymore the same hard way that you used to have to. So, like, I was a hardcore Pokemon, like, strategist, working out the best stats for the best style for the certain moves that I had picked and all this shit for my Pokemon.
Well, yeah, you're min-maxing. All right. But one thing I want to talk about really quick before we move on. They coded the iPhone app really bad.
Did they?
And if you guys didn't know about this, for a decent portion of the game's release, I think about the first week and a half, the game was actually getting full admin level permissions over people's Gmail accounts on the iPhone. Like, if it wanted to, it could have deleted emails, read emails, changed associated phone numbers, grabbed entire contact lists, read SMS messages, send SMS messages, add and leave groups, access YouTube accounts even if it wanted to. Like, its permissions were written improperly. And it was a big security hole for a while. Thankfully, it was caught. 2, the people who built the game obviously weren't malicious. So, but people, I mean, even if you've got an app that's super hype, you need to make sure that you understand what you're agreeing to, because like people were so hyped for this game that they just signed away like their location information and their entire Gmail accounts without ever even reading any of the agreements before they started playing. So
Yep. There's also people that are now like, I've seen so many news articles about it, various places, and like in actual local papers where people are like, "Did you know you signed away rights to like the camera access on your phone so that Google can map the area better?" Basically, like that's what I've gathered.
well, I don't
from it.
mind shit like that. I mean, if you have a game that uses augmented reality, of course the game is going to need camera permissions, like duh. But
Right, but then these articles are going.
I was
in
more
and saying,
concerned,
go on.
about the faux pas of pulling full admin rights to Google accounts.
Yeah. I mean, what these articles are claiming is that they're stealing the picture information from your phone, sending it live
Well-
to Google, and then Google's loading it into their database for, like, this is a place.
It's not stealing if you agreed to it.
I know. But that was my main thing, is I'm like, you gave it access to your camera. What did you think Google was doing?
Actually, you
No,
can
they
deny
just-
it camera permissions and it'll still work.
Oh, I know.
Yeah,
I have
I
denied
can't use the
camera
camera.
permissions because I can't use the AR. The AR is useless to me, so I denied it camera permissions.
Do you imagine them going through the manpower to just identify every single place and just make pictures out of it?
Well, it's not necessarily as hard as you think in a certain way, because Google already has a general GPS location for, like, saying this is the store, like your gas station, whatever it is, and you're standing at it, it already knows that at your relative location of where your camera is a gas station. So if the gas station appears, it can use that as this is a picture of the gas station.
But didn't they
They'd
import
have
all
to
those
go
pictures
through.
from Ingress?
All of the pictures that are like live on all the signs and stuff have been imported from Ingress, yes. Which were uploaded by people going, I want this to be a portal because reasons, and taking a picture with a GPS location. And sending that to Google, who then went, okay. And, now they have images for that. But what I meant is Google's using it for like Google Maps. They're taking direct camera information and then putting it into Google Maps.
Okay. Yeah, like I'm just not phased by this, I guess.
Neither am I. I wasn't phased by it at all. I just saw all of these like panicked news articles like, did you know you're signing away the rights to the pictures that the camera's taking? And I'm like, yes.
Oh, people were probably panicked because they thought it was like ad hoc. Not ad hoc. What's the word I'm looking for? Post hoc?
Thought they were watching you in your sleep.
No, like it was retroactively going through camera data.
Oh.
That's probably what they thought. That it had full access to camera and picture permissions. No, it's like what it's doing is it's running in the background when you actually use the app. When the app is turned off, it's not using your camera data. Like, It's just they're asking permission for like, while you're using this game, can we get some mapping information from you? Because that would be cool. Like,
Yeah. And what I saw some of the articles were like, now Google has a clear layout of the inside of your house, and I'm like, Google doesn't care.
Google doesn't give a fuck. They have more important things to worry about. What are they gonna do? Are they gonna come rob my my $2,000 gaming PC when they have a cloud storage building of for like $20 million of hardware that's 1,000 times better than what I have?
Yeah, like this didn't faze me at all. I saw people panicking about it, so I figured I'd mention it because it just shows how many people don't even understand like what they're agreeing to when they agree to something.
It's possible to be over paranoid, I guess, is what we're getting at.
Yeah, definitely.
Or to be paranoid about the wrong shit.
Yeah, because there are things that you're like, why does it need access to this? Is actually something to be worried about. But I can't think of a particular. I just got an Ingress email. Speaking of Ingress, but
Yeah, that's all I've got for Pokemon Go.
yeah, I don't have much on Pokemon Go. I love how it's like fueling this hate train between teams. That was kind of funny. It's funny to watch the hate below.
Gladly, that's dying down too.
Cool. I don't know. I still notice the hate, but it's kind of funny. The only other thing I have to say is like I've seen so many Pokemon Go things selling now. Like Steve and I.
Oh yeah, the third-party merchandise for that game is going to be crazy.
Oh yeah, it's already selling like crazy because Steve and I were going through Pennsylvania on our way back from Ohio, and this guy passes us. And I go, Steve, he's got an Instinct sticker on the back of his car. And it's just a big Instinct team sticker on the side of his back window. Probably like 7 or 8 inches squared sticker on the back of his car. Like, it's already selling. It's happening. It's another one of those, guy walks over, picks up the thing, what is this? Other guy walks by, hi, with a different flag. And then the guy goes, wow, fuck that guy. Okay. I think, we're good. Been an hour and a half. 1 hour, 29 minutes, 43 seconds we've been live. I don't have anything else I want to talk about gaming news or game-wise. You guys?
Not really. I mean,
No, I'm good.
anyone who's gonna play Starbound is gonna be pretty dope tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll look into that. Just because, like, people like me that were having, I don't even know what to call the error. Basically, it would only use one core of my CPU, and it would max the core out to the point that I was only getting like 10 frames a second or less in certain locations.
It didn't have proper core optimization.
Yeah, let's go with that. So it was killing my computer for no reason, because the game is like really easy to load. But if you're having problems with that, I hope they fixed it. I can get back to you on if they did next week, which we should be on Wednesday next week.
Hopefully.
We'll find out. I didn't bother. I can't remember if Steve has Wednesday off or not. I'll have to look at it. It might be another Lacking the Steve episode, so enjoy it while it lasts, people. I don't know if we're going to play games after this. We'll let you know if we're coming back in a few seconds, basically.
I have to put a new chair together, so probably not.
Well, Doc's not playing games then. I might play some games, but I don't know.
All right, you want me to take us out?
Yeah, go for it. Take us out.
All right, well, this has been Four Mics, the show where three dudes who know a little bit about a lot of stuff attempt to sound mildly entertaining on the internet. Thank you for watching, and good evening.
Have a good one, folks.
Bye.